In today's video, I will be taking you behind the scenes during one of my engagement shoots and show you how I lit and shot these images. So hi everyone, this is Jiggie, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. So before anything else, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel and would want to learn more about off-camera flash photography or maybe just photography in general, then this channel is for you. So you might want to consider subscribing, and while you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to see more of my images, you could always find me on Instagram. It's at Jiggie Alejandrino. So as I said in my intro, I am taking you behind the scenes during an actual engagement shoot, and this engagement shoot was set in Bawang, La Union. It's a northern part of the Philippines known for its beautiful beaches, and of course with beautiful beaches you always have amazing sunsets. And honestly, La Union, every time I am there for a vacation, I always get amazing sunsets. So we were expecting to get the same. But of course, there is such a thing as a photographer's curse that when we are about to shoot, the weather just doesn't really cooperate, and that's something we cannot control. However, what we can do is control the situation to get the most out of what is possibly given to us. And that is the main topic of this entire video. Of course, it is a lighting video, it is a lighting tutorial, it's shooting, it's also a photography tutorial, but at the same time, it's actually how to overcome adversity, especially when you are shooting. So here goes. Now, we're making the most out of this really dark sky. And that's the one that creates drama. For this one, the light, a dramatic light, would really fit the scene so much. So what I'm doing is So you could see here with the video that I'm showing you that it is very cloudy. However, whenever you're having cloudy skies that's about to rain, you get really dark skies. However, there is texture in the sky. So I was able to use that to our advantage by, number one, having my Photix Indra 500. The Photix Indra 500 is a battery-operated 500-watt studio strobe that's capable of high-speed sync, and of course my Raja Deep 60 Octabank. And the camera that I use for this particular shoot is my A7R Mark IV from Sony and the Sony f1.2 GM lens. Now I am shooting on high-speed sync again with my Photix Indra and the Raja 60 there. And there, that's perfect. Look, exactly what Jasper did. I love that. And now I'm gonna shoot it with light. And look at that. Perfect. 1/3200 f1.2 ISO 160. Why is it on 160? Then let's just put it on auto first so it goes down to 100 again. Alright, so yes, I made a mistake. My camera was actually set at ISO 160 at that time. Normally, when I would be shooting at this time, I was actually on shutter speed priority because, oh no, sorry, I wasn't on shutter speed priority. I was on aperture priority because I was controlling the aperture. I wanted it at 1.2 and I was shooting on high speed sync because my flash was more than capable of doing high speed sync. So by putting it on ISO auto, automatically it's going to go down to the lowest ISO possible first and then adjust the shutter speed. And that's exactly what the camera did. That's perfect. That's beautiful. But Jasper, okay. Jasper, when you're done. All right. Okay, so that was my assistant photographer, Jasper, by the way. And of course, a huge shout out to the M&D guys who accompanied me in this shoot. And at the same time, I'd like to say thank you also to Marvin and Ruby for allowing me to shoot their engagement shoots and shoot content during the time that I was supposed to be shooting their engagement shoot. So the baseline from what I shot earlier was this. What I did was I supposedly underexposed the image, but ironically, proper exposure gave me this. The exposure that you saw in my video was actually an overexposed video because it really did look like this in person. So I didn't really have to underexpose. I just metered for the scene, and the exposure that I got was 1/4000 f1.2 ISO 160, which adjusted a little when I went on ISO 100. And the final output of that particular layout is this. So my shutter speed adjusted to 1/2500. Oh, this was still shot at ISO 160 at f1.2. So you could see that the light just came from this general direction where the photic Indra was. And I really didn't need to do anything. I just needed to illuminate the subject. So whenever you're faced with adversity, like for example, really bad weather, when you were expecting the fact that you were supposed to get a beautiful sunset, you know, just make do with what you have. In other words, we cannot be complainers as photographers. We always have to be problem solvers. And for me to solve the problem was I decided to just create very dramatic images and use the really dark clouds as part of my scene. So here's a few more layouts. Wait for the water to come in and that's it. There we go. And beautiful. Ruby, close your eyes like this. Again, aside from the clouds, there was still one element there that we could actually use to create a more dynamic image, and that was the really strong waves coming in. So we wanted that water element also as part of the scene to make it look, to make the image less static, because we have some movement of water and of course the streaking clouds. Going down. Ruby, Delvin, move one step to your right. That's it there, that is perfect. Now don't smother her too much. Ruby, put towards your lean towards your face here, to your profile there. Then Melvin, move here a bit. Move here, Melvin. Okay, don't pull her just a little bit there. So one thing that I based my poses on was the fact that the side that the bride or the bride-to-be preferred was her right side. So I always made sure that my light was in that direction where she would be facing. So I could light the short side. So you could see here, I would always tell her to face towards her left because that is her angle. All right, perfect. That's it. That's beautiful. Beautiful. One more. Look at how that one turned out. It's just, we're underexposing it. We're about, well, we're not actually even underexposing it because the scene in itself is underexposed. So we're getting really flat light. So by just adding that one flash there, all of a sudden it looks so different there. Look at that. And I don't even need to shoot ultra wide. All right, you're good, Jasper. Walking again towards me. So this is the output of that particular layout, a little tweak of the poses, and at the same time we got the waves here, which I wanted to do to add that movement on with the image. Now you also heard me say something about I'm not even shooting ultra wide. Now the reason being is normally when I want really grand images or images that really pop from your screen, I shoot ultra wide because that is my money shot, so you can get the streaking clouds or the streaking water. But in this particular case, I felt that it was enough. A 50 mm farther away or further away was enough to create the image that I really wanted. Now you heard me at the very end of that clip, I was gonna say it's time for some walking shots, and that's what I'm gonna be showing you now. One more walk. 1, 2, 3, go. 2, 3, go. Oh, there, that was really nice. That was fun. One more. So you guys notice that I'm not making them run because it's gonna be tiring for them to keep on going back and forth. So they're just pretending one run, one step, and that's it. All right, okay, on the count. 1, 2, 3, go. Beautiful. So one of the biggest mistakes that I've noticed with a lot of photographers is that if they want to take action shots, they want to be able to capture the action. In other words, if they want to take a running shot, what they're going to do is they're going to make the couple run and they're just going to try to shoot as many shots as possible and hoping that they get one. Now, one problem with that, especially if you're using flash photography, is number one, your assistant would have to run with them. If not, they will not get the light that you want. Number two, you're leaving everything up to chance. So what I did here was instead of making them run, I would make them do a fake run, like 1 step or 2 steps, and then they go back to their original position. By doing that, you're able to control the emotion that they're giving while they're running, and at the same time, it doesn't really tire them out. Plus, your light is always gonna be spot on. And this is the output. So I shot this one now at f1.2, 1/2000. This time I'm on ISO 100. And look at that. Look at how much fun they're having because they're not tired. And it was easy for us to repeat the shot over and over and over again. And for my final layout, here goes. That's one thing I love having my assistant photographer there, is because every time he's shooting, I tend to see something new. So right now that he's posing, this might actually be a good shot. I like the waves that are coming from behind. So I might actually do this like this. Bring out a bit more of the wave, forward, right, foot forward. And do this and down. Just don't close your eyes. Quite do it close. As close as you can, quite. Come on. So I had my light man bring the light as close as possible to create more contrast. The closer the light is, of course, will give you softer light, but it also gives you more contrast. In this particular framing, I wanted it a bit more dramatic, so I wanted a quick fall off of the shadow, so I needed the light a bit closer, and this became my baseline. This was my actual exposure, 1/6400 f1.2 at ISO 100. This was how my ambient light was exposed. So this was a bit underexposed, about a stop underexposed. And this is the final image with light. Now, what is the power of my flash? Well, to be honest, I don't remember exactly, because I would adjust the power to how I see the images coming out in my screen. But basically, I think I was playing around between 1/4 to full power, depending on how far the light was or how close the light was. In this particular image, I doubt if I was at full power. Now, here's the final layout. So I just really have to give a huge shout out to the guys behind Sony, because if you notice the way I was shooting this particular image, I just had my camera here and I didn't even have to worry about focusing. Why? Because the Sony camera had amazing IAF, so all I needed to do was compose it properly. No matter where my focusing point was, it will automatically look for the eye, and that's where it was going to focus, especially important since I was shooting at 1.2. So this is the final image right there. So this video was really all about overcoming adversity. I've always believed that photographers are problem solvers and not supposed to be complainers. We could have easily said, I'm sorry we can't get the shot that we were envisioning because the situation was like this, there was no sunset, it was about to rain. But instead of complaining, we just adjusted what we were supposed to take and still try to create amazing images for our couple. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy this video, like this video, subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to see more of my images, you could always find me on Instagram. It's at Jiggie Alejandrino. Okay, till the next video.